You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. um,
Alright, so this is Dylan Lee, and he's here to help us. What do you think it means to be great?
Oftentimes I think of greatness as someone's actions and how those actions affect other people and kind of their influence on others. So if you're defining a level of greatness, I would say someone's impact or someone's influence towards the people around him is how great he is.
What are things that make you great?
Honestly, some of the most grateful people are some of the most humble. It's hard to kind of talk about yourself if I'm being completely honest with you.
Alright, pause for a second. This here is where the Bible comes in and, well, the ideologies of Jesus Christ. In his scriptures, 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 6 says, "Humble yourselves therefore under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time." In addition to this, an analysis of scripture by helpfortoday.org states that greatness in the Bible was never determined by how much money someone had or how much influence or power they claimed to have, but rather it was given to someone who was a servant. And I believe that considering Christianity's influence on today's culture, it only makes sense that we allow the Bible's ideologies to influence our definitions. To continue down this line of reasoning, let's hop over to Alston Smith, a proven intellectual and great thinker.
we're recording.
Yeah.
If you follow Jesus, you are walking down a path that makes your life better. It makes your future life better. It makes those around you better, and if everyone in the world followed that path, then we would collectively move humanity closer to heaven.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. You're more than likely saying to yourself, "Will, I get it. You're a devout Christian that applies his values to everything he does. You've been this way all year. This evidence you're presenting is religious and therefore illegitimate and ineffective in a world where, obviously, not everyone possesses the same religious ideologies or even believes in the concept of religion in the first place." But the point I'm trying to drive home is that Christianity is the basis upon which much of society is built. Think about it. Throughout the better part of the existence of mankind, and as most of us have learned in our world history classes this year, the church has long served as a significant source of social services such as schooling and medical care, as well as inspiration for many interests of man, spanning from the arts to politics. The name of God is embedded into our own national anthem, which we rehearse prior to any given day here at our public high school. Even in today's global culture characterized by unprecedented levels of polarization, sensitivity, and division, Christianity remains influential across countless facets of our lives, regardless of our personal ideologies. And therefore, due to the unwavering presence of this dynamic, Christianity's ideas can contribute notably to secular methods of philosophy and thinking. Christianity states that greatness comes from service and the living of a selfless life. I'm going to stop talking now. Let's get back to Alston.
You are not the same person you are tomorrow. And that person is different from the next day, and that person is different from the next day, and that person is different from the next day. Well, I think what makes a great person is someone who in the final analysis has loved others, but the way that you do that is the fun part. It is how you get there. How do you get from, hey, who I am right now, not great, to that great person? I think that path between who you are now, the not great, and then the great in the future is a process of love. I think it's first off loving yourself, And when you do that, you will improve not only your own life, but your future, those around you. If everyone in the world's highest ideal was love of self and others at the same time, then we would collectively move humanity closer to heaven.
Alright, wait a minute. What does it mean to bring humanity closer to heaven? If heaven is not on this earth, how can we get closer? How can we experience it now? According to Joel Thomas, lead pastor of Buckhead Church, heaven is both here and now in another way. So why would we as a society want to move towards heaven? Well, we as a society focus on being better, creating a greater world, a world that better exemplifies greatness. Jesus said, "The greatest among you will be your servant," in Matthew chapter 23. This service is what brings heaven down to earth. This is what shows the characteristics of heaven and why greatness matters. Now, another question arises. How can we achieve greatness? Gabriel Nickerson, an incredibly close friend of ours, wise beyond his years, argues,
I think greatness is a tedious pursuit. I think it's something that greatness is never achieved, but we can try and live our lives to be great, to be better than we were yesterday.
because being better every day will push our world to a better life.
Being great is being good at life, and being good at life will then affect our pursuit of greatness. To be great, you have to serve others, you have to have integrity, you have to have that determination and tenacity. And I think the little things, the small details, that's what makes you great.
Integrity, the quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. Such an important trait of greatness. ICE, a core value of our school, has integrity, service, excellence written on the Cinderella stairs for everyone to see. It is displayed for people to be honest and contribute to a life of greatness. Now for determination. Firmness of purpose.
But you got to know where you want to go. First off, if you want to be great, you need to be able to define what that is, what that looks like. Second to that, you need to know where you are. Where you want to go is the vision. I think great people know how to do that process over time, and they're patient and persistent and diligent.
That is purpose. Knowing your reason, knowing your contribution for this world, and remaining steadfast in your pursuit of greatness. That is being great.
First year of junior college, Coach Thomas was his name. Came out of high school. I ended up actually moving 3.5 hours away from where I grew up. Just said, you know what, I'm going to figure it out. And had a baseball scholarship and faced a lot of adversity my first year of college, especially with sports. And from him, it wasn't necessarily a easy on me. It was more of like a tough love situation where he was like, hey, everybody's going to go through adversity. How can you guys, overcome it and do better? So he's probably one of the biggest role models in my life, and I think what he taught me through that adversity is kind of what impacted me to be great, and I thought he was one of the greatest individuals I ever come in contact with.
Dylan said with no hesitation that this coach is great. His impact on him to that team was great. Spreading your greatness to others is how
A rising tide raises all ships.
I think at the end of the day, God makes us great.
we face the same decision with the rising of the sun every morning. Are we going to capitalize on the potential before us? Our answer should be yes, with consistency, confidence, and certainty. It is our time to be great and pursue the opportunities God has presented us. Opportunities to become better, to be greater, to live for something better than ourselves.
What makes great people is that act of loving yourself enough to be honest with yourself, to strive for a good character, be virtuous, be of moral good standing, care about others, and just love as many opportunities as you can. And that's what I think makes a great person.
Bye.